I've had PTSD, started early in the 2000s, developed anxiety over the years, continued emotional traumas like that built up. By 2009, 10, 11, it's so bad. And then, so living with it for over, 2003 and 4, so over 20 years of surviving depression, suicidal ideations. How am I going to make it? Processing anger. So I make this actually just to free my mind, because these downloads or channelings or energy links or connections come in and I get overloaded, and it's fragmented because with PTSD, my mind was shattered, basically, what happened. I mean, it's 20 years. Okay. So I could speed up and slow down, and I'm human, and I have a mental disability. I'm sharing with you PTSD, what it's like, the depression. See, we like to label things. We could give that to our higher energy selves, our higher self, I would call it. And people use different words. And we can get hung up on the words, because we use words to identify things. When we label, and with the label and identification, basically it's limited, in a sense. It's how we perceive. We're all a gift, I know that, precious life. But with suicidal ideations, it's like, I can't take it like that. And I say the word I can't, I use the word I, But what is the I? I hear, thoughts of, well, what's my true self? What happens when I die? What happens when I live? What happens with yin and yang, positive, negative, love, hate, in the development of my soul? Billions of years we've lived eternally. When we pass away, our consciousness will exist on. Our body decays. Yes, we leave the body, and religions have made things around that. So my message is, I don't want to offend people. See, we get our minds so conditioned. We can go to a movie and escape, and we don't like certain things, or we like certain things in the movie. But the things we don't like, we know it's a movie, and we see the movie. Everything is stuffed into the subconscious. Everything. We can't stop it. So once I knew that, it was like, oh, everything's stuffed in. Yeah, everything is said or heard, or, we think we didn't hear it, and we hear subliminal things like that, subliminally, see. See, like over the news, when you watch news, it's not so subliminal, because it's direct. It's like passive-aggressive, for instance, like someone acts passive-aggressive. It's like, what is that? And we'll use words like passive-aggressive, and we will want to know. Passive-aggressive is like behavior. It's characterized by indirect resistance to the demands of others and avoidance of direct confrontation. What does that mean? It's like, characterized by indirect resistance. See, we get lost in even a definition of passive-aggressive. Can we even understand, am I passive-aggressive? Is someone acting passive-aggressive around me? The demands of others, expectations are an upset waiting to happen. So if I expect something from somebody to act a certain way, it's a form of control. See, we can go down in these psychologicals. There's so many people that talk about stuff like that that's so much more knowledgeable. They're not as fragmented. And it's easier to understand because they go down a river of a slow-moving, rippling river over smooth rocks to explain these psychological dynamics that we need to understand as human beings. So the stuff that's on the YouTube that I put on the 1111s dash before I channel help me, see, because I forget and I get overwhelmed. So I can just like turn it on and I can hear it like, oh, that's right. And then I'll hear all these thoughts like come through and it's scattered. And it's like, oh, yeah, I wanted to go down a little more there. See, it all comes flowing out in these downloads like that. Because, see, with PTSD, it's like trying to drill down, as they would say. Like, why would I have all these scattered thoughts? I know it's scattered, challenging belief systems. That's a tough one, belief. Do I believe I'm alive? Yes. Sometimes we just have to start basic and keep it simple, right? So I'll say things and maybe I say a word and I talk so fast and it came out even jumbled because I leapfrog in my mind through the fragments. It's like hopping on stones. And if you miss one, you splash in the water. Maybe you got offended when I fell off a stone and I just said a few words and right away, I don't believe in all that. I don't believe that. Well, maybe this I do. Take what you want and you leave the rest. So you don't need to worry about all that. You're exactly where you're supposed to be right now. You don't have to go forward or backwards. You're exactly, see. So see, I'll listen to this back and I'll remember that. Like, oh yeah, take a breath, And I'll get real, like, chattery. Okay. So I get chattery and I want to like just release all that download and put it together in a way. And then I realize, you know what? It's okay. It's like, okay. So I'm going to take you into a movie. It's like you're going to go to a movie, okay? It's called You Are a Creator. And how do I get there? In this world that we live, in the real world that we live in, as we see it. So we say the real world. And there's so many things we don't know. And there's so many people that are talking about many different things if one were to look. On YouTube, you could put anything. And, about the moon, Mars, 4K pictures on Mars, and you can see something. It's amazing. It's amazing to talk to someone on a phone instead of a rotary phone when I grew up on that. Dialing on a rotary. Big, huge TV that was only 19 inches. And then you get a color, over 20 inches or something, a TV. And that was a big deal. Things have changed, consciousness levels 50 years ago and today. Where are we? This reminds me. See, that way I'll just listen to this back and I'll say, oh yeah. That's why I'm here, to resolve karmic waves, my own karma. That means the negative things. See, and then I get into the that's where the webbings come in of all kinds of religions. See, we shine light within ourselves. If we're in a religion, I'm shining a light. That's what I would learn. I'd be more conscious. I'm sensitive to anger, and if it's coming at me, and then I can be angry, see, like that. And I could be the opposites. See, these polarities, we shift in and out. See, it's human. Say, well, how could I be a creator if I'm a human being? So I always have to back that story up because it's important, and I repeat things. See, PTSD people that have PTSD, like before 3 years ago, and all the ones that I go, the stories and that I tell in this movie, these are true to me. I have all these pictures that I finally got together. It's hard to sit down on the computer and do anything. But I'll take snapshots. Everything that you see, it's not planned. I'm not waiting for an 11 to happen, like 11/11 or whatever you see. Whatever you see, it's just a picture I took. I didn't use any enhancements, Photoshops. I'm very limited on that kind of stuff. I don't have a production team. So that being said, it's just as they would say, amateur, not professional. See, I don't have the fancy flashes. And see, my message is how we perceive. So my perception, how I perceive, right? How I use the word I. How do I perceive this life? I have to clear my voice sometimes, so I'll try to pause it so you don't hear that. I want to survive. I don't want to be programmed with hate, and I let it happen. I get fired up, and something could irritating, and so that's being human. And when it's happening, it's an awareness. If we catch it, do we catch it? Usually, we don't even. I didn't reflect through the past of my days, and sometimes I might look at something briefly, and then I'll look back once in a while and say, oh yeah. So that's how it sort of starts. I look back at my action, like, oh, I did do that. Yeah, I yelled or acted, egotistical, arrogant. I mean, you could be thinking, oh, you're doing that now. See, when we talk about the other side and this side, meaning when we pass away, what happens? How do you know? Where did you read this from? Who is telling you this? Where do you get your information from? How do you know? Well, I know I overcomplicate things. So if I use my breath, right? That's always the default, breath. But I added your eyes, see, when you cry, when you have water in your eyes, see, that's a shift, a connection point. See, knowing that helps me. Like when I listen to this back, see, everything is stuffed into the subconscious. See, when I shower again, it's like trying to remember the soap. Like if you have a bar of soap and it gets smaller and smaller and smaller, I say, you know what? I'm going to replace this as soon as I get out of the shower. And what happens? You put the soap down, you get distracted, your mind, you go unconscious, you dry yourself off, and you leave, and you get in the shower again, and, oh, that's right, I was going to change the soap, to a new bar because it's so small, getting smaller. Because we forget, we go unconscious, and that's normal. So, and then I learned, I'll take the boxing gloves off, stop beating myself up, see. So all these things are going on when I'm listening, and I didn't complete a thought here, and I jumped over here, and, and I really wanted to, say a little more on that, or I didn't say it quite right, or it came out wrong. See, some things are said to lock us down and keep us where we are. We can only handle so much. That's the subconscious. See, are we angry in the subconscious? Are we happy in the subconscious? So I'm going to take you on a journey through pictures, through synchronicities, through time jumping, being present. See, it's about being present. You want to know why we're here? It's the feeling, to feel love. What's that like? But see, there's polarities with that, right? There's negative and positive. There's rage and jealousies and my needs and I'm not heard and I don't believe this, I don't believe that. The ego is so dominant and it's hard to escape ourselves. That's why I mentioned the mirror, using the mirrors. See, I know there's other beings and there's, what's going on our own moon and the little smokestack with the puff of smoke. Just click on the channel, on my channel, and look for the Apollo 8. It's just a minute. See, that's a truth. That's not altered. I know with AI, you think, well, maybe AI got it. So you could take AI, a person's face, and you could transfer that face on another person and have that person in any form you want. In any look. And it'll look like, wow, that's that person. See, now it's even harder now. See, AI was actually here already before, it was sort of known, quote unquote, but the heart is so far above AI. See, that's something I don't want to forget because we want to be saved in some way or another with technologies. We want to know. We want advancements with medical devices. that we know exists. Yes. Yes, there's, certain cures that, I'll post that little picture. Brzezinski, 40 years ago. They had a formula. The government spent 50 to 60 million to destroy him, take everything, stop it. There were people testifying in the video. I don't even know if I could find it anymore. They remove it. But people were testifying of reputable reputations that had reputable jobs and say, my daughter, her hair was gone, and his formula, I don't know, everybody else, and she lives. She's still living with the, right? And then they shut him down and they couldn't get the formula. His mixture of the genetics of cancer he was working on. Look, I don't remember it all. I watched it a while ago, but I remember I took a screenshot, and I'll try to include that. And I don't even know if I can look it up again, but see, we want to keep diving, going deeper and deeper. True, right? We don't want cancer. We don't want to suffer. We don't want pain, our heart broken and misery, and somebody breaking a car window or violating, our car or our home or the people that we love. We don't want any violations of any kind. We don't want any weaponizations of skin color. See, once I realized that we have to be every race, I even married outside my race. Okay, that's me. Married for over 29 years. Okay. A little bit about my life. Like, who am I to even, talk, to say anything? I only had high school. And yet someone from high school could create, jobs and be a job creator, So with the PTSD, instead of beating myself up, which is, what we do, because, here it goes again. And we get depressed and, we lay there. And then I realized, even though it's going on, we want to know what we are not. I know these things are said and I repeat myself. And I'm just going to go with the journey. I'm telling you a story. You pay to see a movie, good money. Maybe you just go with one person and you buy the popcorn and you buy a few things, and with the tickets you spent $40 to see a movie that you walk out, am I enlightened? I escaped. There's no judgments. See, on the other side, there's no judgment. It's unconditional love. Think about this. You're an eternal being. See, this is what I need to think about when I just leave the house. I have a house to leave. I'm not under a freeway with building boxes around, just trying to, I'm using the freeway, top of the freeway, right? To keep, that's a good roof, but there's cars whizzing, but it's a solid. And then I put cardboard and see, we don't grasp we know these things go on. We know they go on. And maybe you're listening to it in a situation that's desperate like that. Say, how do I get out? Please, See, this is how the save me starts. You're paying back lifetimes of karma. The awareness level that we're at, lifetimes. So the lifetimes of karma, do we even know? Like, how do you know? Like, what does that mean? So I have to be such a good person and every little thing, so I go to heaven. So I'm using a word now. I've labeled something as heaven. We could say an energy source, a place of peace, of love, like that. Sometimes we can use words like energy, source. That's a little simpler, like being. See, those are the basic words. Other beings can just download like a week's information in your mind, like in an instant. That's why it's hard to explain. That's why it's fragmented. Like a being from another world can come to this world, stand 11 feet away. I like 11 feet away from you. And you think, I'm not going to ride. You would shake. You could be a tough person, strong, and overpower you. See, human beings, this is the greatest creation ever. Yourself. Because we're all miracles, all of us. Every person, every soul. See, we want to say soul, spirit. Right away, if I use spirit, you can link it to if I use angel, you can link it to that. And right away, your reflex might say, I don't believe in angels and all that stuff. As a knee-jerk reaction because of our conditioning. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's just being aware. There it is. I'm aware of that I do that. Oh. But see, we want to beat ourselves up. Oh, we didn't do it good enough. I don't have enough makeup. I don't, should I do that? And then we should all over ourselves, see? Using the word should, We should all over ourselves. Like that. Things need to be done. And we want to do the best job. This is what it's like. We want to do the best job. And then we think, and then we forget we're imperfect. And then we want to control. We want the thinking. See, we have a crisis of thinking. We want to control, as they say, the narrative. See, I'll kind of touch and skim. The paradigm and paradoxes, excuse me, I didn't pause that time, is religion, politics. Those are the heavy-duty hitters. And then we can go down in racial and life, like having a child, a baby, and abortions occur, and what that means, and and then we can talk about the rights and is there right and wrong, See, if you were to go to another planet, like they just picked you up and they say, you're the ambassador. We just picked you out at random. We just want to see, like, we're taking a poll. See, we love that here, taking a poll. That's a good one. The poll. The polls. How many people? Who did they even ask? Where do these polls come from? I mean, if I go, an ad. So yeah, ads I'm learning also, I'm aware of it. I get frustrated with ads, Oh, there it is. I say, yeah, I get frustrated. Yeah, I'm human, like you. See, if I were to go to a prison, right, and just poll them on a certain topic, depending upon what the topic is, it could, it's like ask the question, first know the answer before you ask the question, right? That's sort of, but we ask the question because we don't know the answer. And we shouldn't be ridiculed for that, or shamed or guilted. Oh, you don't know, look at this fool, laughing. See, all these things we're going to see back. You mean every little detail? Yeah, that's how karma works. This is creator school. If you're in this world, this is the hardest, densest, you could say muddiest, webbed. That's a good one too. How do I escape this karmic cycle? What am I even talking about, right? This karma. And some religions believe it, some don't. And then you go religions, and well, this religion said this, and therefore I must. And therefore, then I use a phrase over here. Well, then I must over here. So I say this to myself. See, I know, all books are unlimited, but all books are limited. See, right away, if I say that, well, you don't mean the Bible, the Quran, do you? You don't mean all these sacred. They're sacred. Everything is you're sacred. See, it's, we give away our power, as they say. How much power are you giving away? Well, we like the word power because it's charged with the word God. See, I'm just asking questions. Why is it that, see, if you could say, oh, did you read the whole, book? Did you read the whole book? Oh, you didn't. I see. Why don't you go read the whole book and then get back to me, and then you'll see. See? See, the ego of people, of myself. See, it's shocking to even, look at ourselves because it's painful. And we don't want to, I'll deal with that later. It's like something breaks, but you could, get away with it. Like, that's not necessary right now, so I know I need to fix that. But later. See? So I just want to stay on track, fixing see, we want to fix ourselves. We want to be a little more, we want to be a little more. You're already as spiritual as you can get. But I was going to climb this mountain, or I was going to read all this, or I was going to, light a candle. And all the, I was going to go to the ocean. All those ideas enhance. They enhance, but it doesn't make you more. See, that's the ego getting the charge. Oh, you mean it does that? Yeah. The ego is part of us. I just use simple things like the hand. Opening and closing is the ego. I'm a fool if I take my hand and put it through a window, unless it's to save a baby in a car from suffocating from the heat. See, it's how we perceive things, and we like to jump to conclusions and be told narratives and how to think, who to hate and how much to hate. And if you don't think like this, then we will ostracize you in some way with our energies. See? If we ask a question, see, I don't want to offend. This is not about conversion. This is not about you changing and leaving where you're supposed to go next. If that even made sense to you. Oh, you're trying to program me subconsciously. See, that's okay. Everything is thrown in there. Everything is stuffed in. You can't stop it. Okay, you can't. Okay. You can't stop it. Then I'll just stop listening. That's true. We stop listening. We tune out. We're on overload. I can't take it. Here, just look at the sky. Distract yourself. Take a breath. See, come back. See, that's what we do. We have to come back. We have to come back. See, we want to know, and we want to know, and I want to know, all these dimensions and what happened with this psychic event. These, and it helps to be taught and learned. But sometimes we live in distortions and we listen, and it's like, well, that doesn't really make sense. So you'll hear contradictions, like even when you leave your own body, even a near death, you hear different stories, attachments, if you will. Learning. See, everything is learning. So we want to learn this and that. And sometimes we think it's this or that, but learning, I'm learning. See, I'm learning. So when I lay down or sit in a chair and I'll play this back, I'll go on a journey in my own mind. Because this is from the fragmentations of years of PTSD. Then 3 years ago, the ones, were driving me nuts. I'm so pissed off. This is like 6-8 months of the, and I'm just going crazy. So I just sat down on the couch. I started the washer. It was an hour, 38 minutes. I sit on the couch. I'm frustrated. I'm pissed off. I don't know how much time. Some time went by, but I don't know exactly. I know I started it and some time went by and I'm just spinning. I'm not paying attention to time. Well, if an ad came up, so I paused it. So now I'm all distracted. But that's okay. See, we think I should have did this in this turn. Should I turn left or right? These decisions. See, we have to make a decision, right? We have to. See, but look at your day, and then sometimes you think, wow, I didn't think I'd be doing that, right? Like that, you get up in the day and, for whatever, even if you have a flat tire, we don't want that. If we even have a tire, see. Or we could just have a bicycle tire, or we have no tire. We have nothing. So we strive after material because we want to be protected. Our security, things like that are in play. Practicalities are in motion. And we live, and we have to, work, and we have to, do things, and some work, some don't. And then we get jealous, or we don't, or we support and give energy and hope for the best. And we have all these perceptions that we give and receive. And it could be overloading. What is the truth? See, why is this so threatening if I say something? See, well, if you really want it, I said that, newscasters are the greatest teachers because, we pick sides. That's what we do. We come out of the womb with sides. If our mother had played music, we might be more musical. My mother was musical, classical, played Beethoven and Mozart, like that. I have her personal CD. It's not in Amazon or, okay. It's just a few CDs she made, 100 of them. Maybe I have 20 left. And, after she passed away, it was a box under the piano. I found 20 more like that, So they're precious. They're professional. She was a teacher. She taught classical and she had students. And that's how she made her living, like that. And there was a news clipping way back when. This is probably, she's probably, I don't even know how, but it's let's see, 20, 30, over 30, 40 years, 40, 50 years, 40 years ago, probably. You know? So with time, it's like, if I had to think about that, like, shouldn't I have all my notes? I don't have any notes, nothing. See, we're born in this world, right? And I could say there's an energy. See, we're off the source, a spark off the source. So if you listen to any other videos, you'll get this. But I'll go back and repeat things because it's important. We forget. See? But I'll remember certain things because I'm flying all over the place again. But it's sort of like a warning label. Don't look at the sun, okay? You know it's charged, very bright now, very bright white light. It's photons coming out, see, okay? And those are on other things that I posted already. See, right away, the ego, see, the I wants to take credit. That's the funny, those are conundrums in itself. You know, the ego, you know, it's subtle. It's like the news. It's subtly programming you to build up more hate, see? Because it's not my side and I want to dehumanize the other side. It's always that way, no matter what, no matter whose side. 1,000 years, these sides, it's not going to happen. It's not like that at all. So how is it going to change? How do you see this? What do you see? You know, oh, he must be hallucinating. How do you know? Yet there's been other, oh, are you a seer? You know, if you were to look, there's so many seers. There's people that can, you know, what do they call it? Remote viewing, okay? Like once I had a remote viewing, it's full color, but I was behind like I was giving out popcorn in a carnival or something, and I was behind and it was full color. But you know how some people could travel around and I could move a little bit, but I was almost limited in a sense. I you know, like, oh, you didn't have a complete out of body because I could just look back at my body and I could walk around and do, you know, right? See, there's different stories, and we like to tell you how it's supposed to be, you know. Well, yeah, I didn't die. I didn't have a near death, but I could tell you when you fall asleep, it's the exact same thing. You leave your body. Except with a near death, it's more traumatical because it's a, you know, your body actually dies, you know, in a sense. So you leave it, and that's why you see it. But when you fall asleep, it's not traumatic. You fall asleep, it's like drifting on a leaf, but you left your body. So your body needs to rest. Your consciousness lives forever. You mean I will live like this is what I do and the way I... See, you've lived, I've lived hundreds of lives, hundreds. And I've come back on many lives just trying to learn like one simple thing, Oh, got to do it again. You see, life 100 years ago, you know, we think people live, you know, right? People live shorter lives and so now some, okay, yes, 900 years, okay, and then, but there's people like in the Western days, right? 37 was considered old. Like in the Western days, you know, I'm not talking about Westworld, that movie where, you know, we've created a consciousness, like within an AI. We're very fascinated with that. See, people were already cloned. That's already done. There's cloned horses, cloned dogs. You could clone your dog. Look it up online. Put in cloning dogs. I didn't even know there was horses. I just found that out. Like I was trying to cram all these seasons in Heartland. And, you know, one of the characters says, I don't like, you know, the clone horses. They could have organs and things and problems. It's like, whoa, they clone horses too. And then humans, then humans came in, and that was proven. So these things have already gone on. It's like, oh my God, you know, what are we doing? That's against God. You know, you want to know why Atlantis went down? Here, because they were experimenting with human and animal to absurdities. The reason the deserts, like, because of the ozone layer, because of the power released with crystals. I mean, you can get into, like, I want to know the history. Okay, the moon, let's go back to that. That one we can prove right there. It's on the YouTube, on my channel. I say my channel, yeah, that's, yeah. The 1111 comma S dash before I. You know, something like, I don't know, something like that. I can't remember if that's accurate. The smoke is coming out. You can see it. It captures it in the lower corner, and then they zoom in, you know, as best as they could with that camera technology. You want to know something even more funny? Like, you know, the first computer came out, right? You know, DOS. You remember DOS? SuperCalc 4. Anybody remember that? Okay. Like, that was a big deal, right? Well, guess what? 40 years before we got our first DOS computers. There were already computers set up underground in one of our military bases. We have the ability to drill 7 miles a day, if we want, under the earth, miles and miles down, to make a tunnel. And we did this between our bases within these United States that we live, these 50 states. So on, let's just say, West Coast, East Coast, right? North, South. You could travel over Mach 2. Mach 2. That was an interesting play on words. There you go. Yeah, it's true. Magnetically, it's over the track. So the lasers can form the tunnel 7 miles. There's no dirt to haul out. It's completely, as you would say, ionized and solidified. It's an amazing technology, So they build these tracks and stuff, and people sign NDAs and engineering, things like this. I mean, heavy duty things. You just don't open your mouth, And sometimes people open up their mouths when they're older, because they're older, and they, right? People say, well, I got nothing to lose. I lost everything. Most dangerous, right? Well, sometimes when you're older and you have information like free energy, if you're linked to that, wow, how much karma you could pay back. Wow. Do you realize that if you work and have that ability to just upload it to every social media platform, the technology, right? But see, we don't want to make a weapon out of it. So if that's a possibility, and people, you don't want a 20,000 mile an hour, anti-gravity system delivering a warhead. Okay. No. See, that's scary, right? Yeah. 20,000 miles an hour. How's that possible? Anti-gravity. They call them UFOs or, ARVs, alien reproduction vehicles. I mean, all these terms, it was UFO, then it's, the polite one now, whatever. So with these terms, we get anchored, see, and it's the hate though. So my perception for myself, it's like, I don't want to come back anymore. I'm tired of it. Now, my wife wants to come back. She's a warrior. I've said that before. That's amazing to me. And I ask her like every time. Sometimes I'll think I'll catch her now. It's like, are you sure you want to come back? Like be born in this world? And see, we need souls that come in. That's why other beings from other planet want to help. They have so much love. They're cycling in a singularity race, and they're happy. But, I'm going to go for it. I'm going to go to Earth. And other souls will say, oh, you're going to Earth. Wow, here's my light. Because it's hard. See, we're in a free will society, right? Free will. Singular race society that lives like that. What do you mean? What can't they? Well, they don't do things like the way we do things here. So here is total free will. Yes, their movements are, yes, they walk forward and they move forward, their minds, and there's a will, but it's based off of a love. But then you can say, well, there's aliens out there, and we use the word aliens, see, from movies. There's other beings you could say that, from the past, and the wars and the things and the, that's what's going on. But 95% out there with the council over the universe, there's different councils that represent different areas, planets, and just like we have here. It's sort of like our political system, but on the spiritual side, and you would, both. The spiritual and the physical. So we're talking about the physical council of beings, See, we just can't get over ourselves. We're created from them. They are from the source, just like we are. They're from the source. We're from the source. You're a spark. See, we forget the magic in that. We forget the magic in the spark of life. Okay, I think we should divert my mind now into the spark of life. The moon is a good example, though. That's important. See, we just ignore that. That's not on the 6 o'clock news saying, hey, we still want to know what's going on. See, we don't want people to ask questions. See, it's just like with the books. We put them in glass or surround them by stone with some glass that you could see it, the book. We don't change it. So that's a limitation in itself. If we do that with our minds, we anchor on so tight. And we haven't even read this whole book. Or maybe we have, and someone tells us, if we don't read this and this and this and this and this. See, everything on this side will be lost. Everything. Let's get into this concept. I know I'm jumping all over. But see, I'll remember when I hit that, I'll say, that's right. And I'll stop it. And I'll play something else like just some ocean waves or a river sound or a rainforest or whatever, a bird chirping. And then I'll think about that. Instead of turning on those channels of cable news or turning on something that, this is the conditioning, of course. It's hard to listen to the other sides. See, we say the other sides of politics now. It's hard, right? Because, that person's full of it, and then we get irritated. And see, we use the mirrors to reflect back light. If we're in politics and religion, wherever we are, they wake you up at 2 a.m., you're awake at 2 p.m., you're that light, that source, that spark that lives forever. You're taking a body that has emotions, which has feelings. See, that's why we're here. We're expanding ourselves. See, first you're a rock. Is that a good life? No, it's a low vibration. It's slow. Okay, now I'm nature. I'm a blade of grass. I'm a bush. I'm animals, right? Land, sea, and air. I'm all races, all people, all religions, all sexes. See, on the other side, that's what happens. It's instant. You want to know what you are not. See, you are not decay. You are not a tooth falling out. You are not aging. See, in the Atlantis, in this real realm that we live in, Atlantis was we think of it as an island, and a lot of people, see, is it an island? It was the whole earth. Atlantis. See, there's seismic shifts that shifted this. You can't even imagine. Oh, I'm sorry, I screamed. Okay. Wow, I got to slow that down. There was a seismic shift on the earth. Like Hawaii, the tips of the mountains. So I say mountains. Those tips were mountaintops, like Everest. See, Atlantis, their beings, basically they mastered with their mind, no more doctors were needed. That's amazing. Things changed. So, and then they messed with time. And then they messed with animals in a weird way. So you wonder why some races and beings have like heads of dogs. Cat features on another world. On another world, they're gray. On another world, they're Nordics. Another world, they're tall whites. Another world, they're translucent. Another world, they're light beings. In another world, they're this shape, insectoid. There's another race. The praying mantis is from another world. I got to put that picture up. It was on the side of the house. That was enough. Okay. See, there's miracles. When you realize that you're a miracle and you don't anchor yourself to anything, that's why when you're on another planet, they tell you about yours. They tell you about their planet. Now they ask you. They just picked you up at a polling. We're taking one person off. We just grab them at random, pull you off, and now you explain the perceptions of your world and what we do to life, the atmosphere, and we like to say whose fault it was, right? Free energy existed already for years and years and years. Over 50, over 60, over 70. Free energy was known how to do it. It was hidden, shelved. Because you can't make up money on it. You can't put a meter on it. But see, humanely, if you want a solution, humanely, power companies could roll it out that way. Because we don't want things turned into weapons. I haven't looked in fully into that, of free energy. See, we love to turn weapons. We even shoot. We can lock on to unidentified flying objects, our military. It could shoot a beam out and distort everything. See, they want to bring that extraterrestrial vehicle down and reverse engineer it. There are things, see, this has been going on. Alien crash retrievals. Okay. Submarines painted, coated way back over 50 years ago, 60, with, I'll just say the word alien technology because we like that. Okay. So, my mind went totally blank, literally. So I'd have to reverse and figure, I'm not high tech. I don't have high tech equipment. Although this phone I'm talking, I'm one of those. I hold my phone. This is for my mind, for PTSD people. To give a hope. See, we feel hopelessness. See, that's a big part of PTSD, hopeless, repeating. I got to clear my voice. Hold. See, there's great educators that could teach us about more details and cut it up a little more. And then there's someone else with more training and they could cut it up a little more. See? So I'm taking you on a story that you would tell. You have no books with you. They just snatched you off on another planet and you're going to tell it and you have no proof. None. And you have to tell them about this world. Let's say they know nothing about it, hypothetically. You have to tell them. What are you going to tell them? All the misery, any hope in there, any love, any movement of energy, perhaps, any thoughts of perceptions, the way we leave our bodies when we die, the things we do. Oh, I have to be so good to go to heaven. That's another thought. I mean, I use that word heaven again. See, this place of bliss that we go to, yes, but guess what? You're a creator. This is creator school. It's a hard concept. There's 8 billion of us. If the sun novas will be relocated, simple as that, in a dense planet, just like this. Not as advanced, not all this. Harder, even. It's like, see, we think things are harder, and everything's a paradox in itself, and a paradigm. You know, have you ever noticed things are opposite or upside down, backwards and forwards? See, that's why I say use the mirrors. That's a great way to break through. It could capture the sunlight. You could capture a mountain. You could capture yourself with the sun. See, you can darken a room, but if you have that sun and that mirror, no darkness can penetrate the sun at all. See, that's in you. That's sunlight. Those photons are in you. That's an ingredient. Just like the news, they put ingredients of hate, like frustrations, injustice, you ridiculed, medically, and they use medical, they use security, all sides. It depends how they use it and how hard they use it. Well, I'm going to say, we want security. We want medical. Oh, therefore, this side will give it because they're the side. Or this side doesn't talk about it. You know, one time I heard this president mention homelessness. One time in the first term. So I'll have to narrow something down. I don't even like to do that because then you think, oh, your favorite. Look, who's ever there, you're exactly where you're supposed to be. So of course, you know, but he mentioned homelessness. Was like, I want to do something about homelessness. I never heard anybody say, and he only said it like once. I don't watch all that stuff anymore. Okay, I can't handle it. You say, oh, I can't handle it. That's right. It's a lot of energy to process, and it's just, haven't you ever noticed the news the narratives just go on forever? Like things for 5 years, and they keep mentioning it. Like this is not resolved, you know, and yeah, we can mention things. Like, and the other side will say that didn't exist. And so, see, and they know it exists. They know this is happening, but they don't want to, they got to keep their own narrative, the power. It's all about the character and role they're playing. See, we can't get out of the character and role when we don't even know we're playing a role. So now you know you're playing a role in the character. You can move your own Titanic. See, if a politician, that's why you ever see politicians go to other parties, they'll just like go to that one. Or they become, you know, in the middle, or so, you know, something happens. For whatever side you're on, somebody leaves. You know, and goes to the other side. You know, like Luke, I am your father. You know, in Star Wars, you know, Darth Vader, right? You know, so, I mean, these things, like, our minds will anchor onto hate, no matter what. Look, in 1,000 years, there's no sides. Think about that. Not like it is. No, you want to know what the side is? The side of life. There will be beings rushing in to karmically want to come through this earth now. Instead of like, oh, you're going there, wow, good luck, you know. I mean, when you come here, you're rolling the dice. It's a good roll. It's charged because it's thick. The density. See, it's like going through an hourglass. It's like waiting in traffic for 3 hours. If you're in a plane flying over, it's not so bad, right? We can look things in perspective. If you're sitting in traffic, that's where you are. You're in the plane looking over it. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. It doesn't bother you. Learn, like, oh, that's irritating me. That's funny. Here, higher self, that's me being so impatient and I'm not getting where I want. And this person is cutting. They're not letting me in. See, everything's a reflection. That's an interesting concept. That's the karmic waves. See, maybe the word karma or karmic bothers you. Maybe that's the wrong word to use. So every little thing, you know what, how people, you post and it goes to the cloud, right? Your pictures. Well, your memory, you have, excuse me, neurons in your mind, and they connect into the universe. So you'll see your life review. You'll see the person that you weaponized your, if you did weaponization of something like skin color, self-righteousness, beliefs, politics, you're going to see that from the other side. That's why I say newscasters too, leaders, people in positions, all House, all Senate, all D's, R's, and I's. Okay, you want to know my registration? Fine. NPP. What is that? It's nonpartisan party. Oh, but you won't get the, in your state, and you won't get certain things. You know what? See, that's another scam. They should, if you're nonpartisan, everybody should be on there then. See, oh, I only get this candidate because this isn't, and these are the way it's, okay, fine. Whatever. Take the power out. Take the power out of their hands. Okay, you say, whoa, Daryl, aren't you getting a little too political and, the sides and, the politics? Now you're going to taint it. No, nuclear energy is tainted. We dropped a bomb and killed over 100,000 in the suffering. You can say, oh, he didn't get the right statistic right. See, we get, souls were obliterated and, and blinded. See, if you're on the perimeters, you could just be blinded for life now. See, that, you know why they don't want to show you what happened when, a group of people go in and kill 1,000 people? Like today, we hear about it, and people have to go in there and see it firsthand. It's like the government interacting with other beings on other planets. They're not going to tell. They sign like NDAs, and so you're just not going to hear certain perceptions. Is what I'm trying to say. We're being duped and had. We're fooled. Oh, God, I'm so sidetracked. Well, if I was to stop this tape, then I can remember. I'm sorry. I'm fragmented. Don't get upset. See, expectations. Maybe this is the greatest teacher, right? For me. It's an upset waiting to happen. So all those things I want to keep going on. It's okay that I dropped. I forgot. It's okay. I'm human. See, that's why I'm here. I'm in a body mastering emotions, feelings. If you live forever, you were never born and you never will die. See, nothing can trap you. Nothing. I know I repeat this because it's important, because there's so many anchor points. It's like falling into an abyss and you just, there's tree branches, you grab one, because just save me, tree branch. Okay, all right, save me, Jesus. And we get saved. And Jesus came into my life and save me, right? You would say that. People say these things. Or Allah, I got on my knees. My sensei, he gets on the, he puts out the mat. And he was praying in his religion. My Iranian karate instructor, many years ago, 3 years. It was funny, one time I even lost respect for him, one time. Just briefly. It's funny how we do that. We'll idolize somebody, and then we can lose respect. Now, that's an interesting one. I don't know if anybody had that happen, but I was like, how could that happen? He's such a... Yeah, no, that's me. It's me. Yes, I have flaws. I have shortcomings. I have problems. I get flat tires. Things happen. You hear about things, injustices. People pass away. There's pain. How do we process all that? And then we turn on the news because we want to know what's going on. And all these things, right? I like the news. It just gives you everything in 5 minutes, and then that's it. Okay. They're going to talk, and then I don't have to hear, the talking heads. Or better yet, you go to YouTube or news and see the headlines. See, everything's controlled though. What YouTube puts in, what can be said over the news channels, cable channels. The government isn't going to, it's like Orson Welles back in the early, I don't know what it was, 1912 or I don't know what it was. Somewhere back, 1920 or whatever. I don't know. Someone will correct me. But I know it happened, the War of the World or whatever. He's, and people he's on the radio, right? And he was arrested. There's a picture of him with handcuffs or something, Orson Welles. Scaring people. That's why, in place, newscasting, see, there's laws Just like we have, if you run a red light, you get a ticket. Well, if they say something about, like there's alien life on other planets, get over it. Like if they just announce that, they'd probably be fired. Well, it depends how much. Maybe if one's making 50 or 60 million, they can get out of it and worm their way out. But if a newscaster like that were to tell the truth and say, you know what, I have been contributing to a negative karmic wave, a negative energy. I have been saying hateful things, and I know they're not true. That's all I'm focusing. We want to focus. What's that thing, right? The log and the eye. Now it's like, oh, I'm getting too religious now. So you must be on that side. Look, I was baptized at 17 years old. I got drunk at 16 or something. I went to the traffic school, went to court, paid a fine, 12-step program, and then a friend like, oh, why don't you just come here, be baptized? See, in the shower, you could throw water all over you, and someone could, and yes, these things, water, yes, and I was at the ocean, it was cold in the morning, wearing white shorts, white t-shirt, fishermen out there, this is early, like 5:30 a.m. or 5 a.m. or something, get up, like 7 people are going down here, I'm 17 years old, oh, my sister was baptized as a baby, and I never was. That's weird. And okay, so this programming that I have to be baptized was in me. So I did. So I just felt, well, why not? How did you feel when you came out of the water? I saw this lady crying, I mean, I knew Jesus comes in and, I'm cleansed and I'm reborn. So that was part of the life. Then what happened? It was like, yeah, I couldn't handle it. And then maybe it just lasted like 6 months, a year of, and then you say, oh, he got off track and the devil swallowed him up. That's the best one of them all. See, if you were God, would you just like have all that? See, on the other side, there's no judgment. It's unconditional love. I say, how do you know that? With all this suffering. See, when you die, it's the pain. The pain is the remorse and the regret. As simple as that. But you take the love. See, you take the love. Someone passes away. So you could have, oh, good, I'm glad they're gone. Or, so you could have reactions like that. And you'll see that. See, we're going to have life. You're going to see it. That's how you're refining your soul. It's like a product that you would produce. First it was analog and now it's digital. Excuse me, it's better. See, we just forgot ourselves. We're human. We're in a body. We're master emotions. Now, what do? We move energy. But first, how do you do that? What are you talking about? It's about moving energy. That's what it's about. How do you do that? In your mind. You can forgive people in your mind. Forgiveness is so important. So, well, doesn't that sound religious? Does it? Yeah, see, there's certain things in every religion, the heart. I say that religion is judgmental and they're not allowing people to marry who they should marry. So I'm not going to. And then, and we judge that. See, because of our conditioning. See, we have to be all races, all genders. See, you want to know why, here's the good one here. We incarnate and we get trapped by our negative. So we keep going around, we learn lessons, and I keep going, right? Around and around. Well, you can get off it. That's what Jesus and Gandhi, Muhammad, Allah, Buddha. I forget the word Buddha on everything. It's like, oh, I forgot Buddha. That's a big one. Oh, you forgot Buddha. Then I forgot somebody else. So, or that person, like Sadhguru. Okay, or then you could say, Eckhart Tolle. You could start throwing more names out. More teachers. They all have problems. Sometimes I could, that might be a little off there, just a little bit. Just, but I'm so off on this and this, but I'll just catch something like the ego. See, oh, I caught something. It's funny. It's like I can't. Excuse me. I try to relax. Okay, I gotta clear my voice. So why not just take a deep breath? Well, I will. So I have to. See, I go through these depressions and anxieties and what I was brought up in. And I went to Sunday school a couple times when I was like 4 or 5 years old, maybe in between there, not very long. And so they had these, some of these traditional things that I did. But basically public school, 1 through 6, 7th, 8th, 7th, 8th, like a Catholic. And then 9th, 10th was a private high school. Okay, so that was on the religion side. And then 11th, 12th, public school. I left. I just came home to my mom and said, I'm going to this school, So that's how my schooling went. And then I worked a job, punching clocks like that. See? And then later, then the PTSD. I'm just giving you a synopsis because, see, if I was a different, brought up differently, then I'd have different connection points. But see, if I'm saying all books are limited, right away, and if I say something like, I had a connection with Yahshua, which is Jesus, which is, they say Jesus, the book, we altered that. The Catholic Church and the Vatican are not releasing information, chapters, Jesus' life, went to India, Tibet, learning all kinds of, healing techniques and from other masters and running around these different, and then he comes back like that and misinterpreted as usual. Just like today, we think everything's so perfect, and look how people lie today. And yet we rely on 500 years ago. What about the Salem witch trials? But this was written. This is ordained. We have built a glass box around this book. If you say anything, like I remember a verse like, "O sluggard, when will you arise? A little sleep, a little slumber, a little folding of the hands to rest, and your poverty will come upon you like a vagabond, and your need like an armed man." That's the only one I remember, really. That's so funny. And that was from when I was 17. And I would say that to my friend to act like I knew some quote. And I don't know why I remembered that. It's the first time I even thought about it. How weird. See, things will pop up in the head, and then we'll get lost. So I'm taking you through all these pictures that you're seeing. You're seeing pictures of the moon. It's sporadic. You're seeing wavelengths. You're seeing, just everything. It's not even matched up. It's just all over the place. See, that's the way hate comes in over the news channels. It's like little particles being thrown at you, like sand in the eye, if you will. Sand gets in your eye. See, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so I should listen more, talk less. So I have 2 eyes, I should see more. I have 2 ears, that's 4 against 1. So 2 eyes, 2 ears, 1 mouth. See, our hand opening, closing is the ego. See, we want someone to show us the way. See, you can't get any more spiritual. But yet we change our perceptions. 50 years ago, the consciousness of this world. 100 years ago, right? Salem witch trials going on, 200, 300, burn people at the stake. If I said any of this, I would have already been charcoaled. See, and we do that today by attacking people through social media. Easy. Oh man, we're like flamethrowers. And then we add to the flame, see. Burn as much as you can. Because it's not my candidate. This is what we as a earth need to understand. We have to accept ourselves, see. If we're everything, and that's right, the gender. Okay, it's so important. Because we judge that in the religion, see. I got to tie back into that. So the genders, we incarnate like as a man or as a woman, and then we keep doing that because we're playing that part well. And we're learning maybe a little more doing that, but we do have to play all parts, so we have to shift over. But we don't. So maybe somebody's having bisexual thoughts. That's because of that shift. It's not wrong. See, on the other side, I'm giving you the metaphysics, mechanics, the engineering of it, the perception. I'm sorry, my voice is hoarse, but that's I don't want to get lost. Okay, the perception of that. And we, oh my goodness, I could tell I'm starting to, all right. Because it's difficult for people. We want to judge everything on the side. We tell people who to marry. 2 people love each other. I know. And kids grow up. Oh, I want to show my kid that. And so there's delicacies in place that have to be in place. Delicacies. Children. See, adults can't even make rational decisions. And here, a child is going to come home. Maybe they just need a rational, functional parent. See, I had, yes, dysfunctional parents. Dysfunctional grandparents. Great-grandparents. That's why forgiveness is so important. Okay, let's get back to the gender roles. Excuse me. I didn't pause. Okay. Okay, and I'm probably going to have some bowl sounds, too, with this. You might hear a bird, or I have a river running right now. It's called Forest River Nature Sounds. Gentle stream with bird song, right? Okay. So, I don't know. That's what's on here. So you're incarnating, woman, and then you need to transfer over, and maybe you do. You say, well, how many times is it? Look, you've lived hundreds of lifetimes. You could have lived 1,000 lifetimes. Okay, so that's what's going on. You're on the other side. You pass away. Okay, man. Okay, you pick the life. Deja vu is from that. You've already picked your life. You say, how is time possible? On the other, because your mind's wiped. It's hard to understand and grasp time. But you can go to a movie and believe it in a second because they organize it better. I'm sorry, it's fragmented in my mind. If you listen to everything, probably the pieces will come together. That's how it is for me. A little piece out of this movie, a little piece from somebody said. All of a sudden, I saw something. Somebody said whatever. Just a miracle. If I'm open up for the shower, a wind hitting me in the aura. See, just perceptions can change things. The photons in the air. Okay, so you're incarnating around. And then, okay, you have bisexual thoughts. Now it's gay thoughts. Or it was this, and now it's more this, or it's that, and it's more this. This is because you're in that middle part. See, that light switch part I talked about before, the breath, when you breathe in and out, the transfer, that part right there, that's what my sensei said. That's the part of life. That's the part. And Muhammad, his first name was Muhammad. I just say my sensei. My short teacher that I had in my 20s, mid-20s, and whom I left very much respecting. I just went through a part where, I know I'm jumping, okay. So, see, this PTSD, I'm fragmented. Sorry. Yeah, mental health is important. Okay, when I interact and leave, I'm not like this, but my mind is sort of racing a little bit like that. So, and then, same with women, lesbian, and women are more intuitive. So, the bisexual part is not as threatening, but it's still, like they would use the word taboo or normal. It depends how you perceive it on this side. But on the other side, it's perceived as love. Now, how can you say that? It's written here. Man, woman. Let's get into the weeds because I'm going to say things that are going to trigger these things. Man and woman. That's the limitation of the book. But we have to raise kids and that's what we do. The bulk of the herd is doing it that way. And then there's some of the herd doing it this way. And then we want to judge that. We want to judge the type of love. Because we, in our minds, because it's written here in the production of life, see, the cycle, we talk about the precious. Yes, every baby is precious. And they all have crystallized eyes being born. When I go, that's a definite. I don't even want to get sidetracked on all that. Okay. It's the carnation cycles affecting you say, and then remember they used to do electric shock, like, oh, I'm this, I'm that. Let's shock the sexual ideas out of your head. And it is, it worked. It shocked because all electricity and, how could I think of anything else when it zapped the hell, right? Or something like that. I'm just imagining like that, So we have an imagination. We go to a movie and there's an imagination. See, we think like, don't you wonder why all the pyramids, like around the world, and we can't even, we have to take a plane. Look what we have to go through to travel just to get somewhere to bring a luggage. And here there's these massive stones all over the points of the world. And those points are, we don't, we say, well, that was ancient and, we live our life and we ignore it, just like the smokestack on the moon. Look, the moon was brought here 15,000 years ago. The earth was terraformed. Before all that though, this earth went through massive, with Atlantis and the beings and the healing and all that. They had a time machine like Project Looking Glass with the government, and it was, like a mirror and swing, and every now and then it would malfunction, like broken. It would work and not work and not work, not, and then it was broken, completely. So other beings came in and working on that, but there was a point where it was a high technology. You start messing around with stuff that burned holes in the ozone layer and created deserts. If you want to know, that's what happened. Okay, am I recording? I'm still recording. Okay. So I'm having lots of pictures that you're seeing right now. I'm flying all over the place, but the gender roles is so important because we limit the books and we say, well, how, and then there's some priests, right, that are marrying the same genders like that. And then we'll ridicule people. We will judge. Everything's a miracle. When we stop there's no judgment on the other side. See, we could say there's no judgment in heaven like that. Oh, if I have to be a good person, that means I'm going to heaven. Every little thing I do, and then we get caught in that cynicalness. We forget ourselves. Our heart. Nobody has to teach you that. See, sometimes we're so angry, or we've been burned by relationships, let's say. Burned. Just hate. I hope that person, never finds that, or, and they wish something negative. See, I'm going to see that. Like, if I forget about that, that's why I say, forgive everything. We just say, like, I like the one, well, we pray for, and we say those words like, I'll pray for, or we forgive you, or, and we say that in 2 seconds, but that's about how much thought we really gave it. And we just go back unconscious. Well, we meant it in that moment. It's sincere, and, but have we really thought about the reflections of the anger, how I might dehumanize someone because someone told me how to do that? And I didn't know, like, all these good things. See, everybody has good in them, period. And you say, well, how can you say that about Hitler? Oh, that's a good one. Yeah, you can't. You can say, see, a soul like that, who ego went into hate and murder and torture, pulling teeth. Go see Schindler's List. That's only a movie you can see once, in my opinion. But if you have thought that, oh, that didn't exist and that was fake and phony, I mean, your research is poor then. Then I'm making a criticism now. Because that's a cataclysmic event. It's not like a planet blowing up, and that's the next step down. It's something like, and then nuclear bomb dropping. Those are in the high leagues there of a planet blowing up. That's negativity, that's anger, that's rage, that's blowing things, obliterations. See, tearing something apart. Oh, wow. Okay, and synchronicities. Okay. Okay, I saw 1, 1, 1, 3, 3. That was interesting. On a, I couldn't get the 10th of the second. If I could see that, it's flipping around like, okay. I'm not looking, okay. We think we have to be somewhere, and we get caught up in judgment and say, well, it's not fair, and I have to stand up, and and we go, and rights are taking, and then we, and let the states handle it. And I could tell you in 1,000 years, see, we have us, and then once we realize we're us on a planet, see, there'll be free energy. Those will be brought in to places of like deserts that people are starving. You can grow food and things like that, water purifications, and you won't have to funnel in a bill of, oh, how much is that going to cost? To build the building, right? Okay, United Nations should, right? Free energy, you can see it doled out. Let's start with areas that are totally suffering. We'll bring in power freely. We'll roll it out. There's no nuclear bombs made from that. Okay, that's why it's tainted. I know it's not funny. I mean, but see, we laugh to derail ourselves. We minimize and rationalize. We expect things we want to control, and we lose ourselves. An expectation is an upset waiting to happen. Once that was drilled in my head that, oh yeah, I am expecting this person to respond. They never hear me. All they talk about is their problems. Oh, they'll say, how's it going? But, after that, it's like, yeah, I have a few aches, but, I'm seeing some ones, and that was kind of weird. I keep it real general. I'm not going to say, hey, Jesus communicated, Yahshua communicated to me that he didn't want to be praised. I was like, whoa, I mean, the whole world's based, pray, like so if they took me off the planet in the name of Daryl, I mean, I could see that. Like, I died and, like, that's what's happening, It's like, how weird. But see, it happened. These are timelines that happen and distortions. He's real. He walked. He wanted to show you the way. He had healing and he healed people. But he didn't heal everybody because we have to, how can you say that? I know the minister will say, he healed everybody. And I'm getting a little bit into the paradigm of religions now. On that side. I know I'm not talking about the Quran, or I'm not talking about the Buddha or the Tibetan way or this way or that way. I'm talking about what I was baptized in the ocean, right? I could say, you weren't in the ocean. You just had a little water to the baby. Now make the decision and go. That means you're more for it. See, we could turn things around. See, we just turn everything around and just ridicule everything. You know what I say? If you're a Buddha, an Allah, a Jesus, a Gandhi, a Muhammad, you, yourself. It's funny how Jesus said, Father, why have you forsaken me? Right? There's a separation, just like, save me. Why have you done this to me? Why did you do this to the spark? See, that's how it's interpreted now. Why did the source, see, the ocean is in the drop. The turbulence of the ocean has great power, right? You've seen tsunamis, and look at what water can do. It can drown a planet, or it could dry out a planet. Oh. Okay, my dog. Okay, I gotta pause. Okay, I hope these bowl sounds come out. I'm gonna add it. But the politics, the paradigms of religions, and then when I open my mind, like, oh, that's interesting. Just like, see if I can not label and minimize and rationalize, and see, I put these weights around me now, if you will, pressures in the beginning. It's like, do this better. See, I want to be a better person. Like, am I better than you? My religion is better. I was healed and saved, like that. Oh, it's miracles in heaven. That's what it was. Okay. And then they had the real people, at the end of the movie. It's like, oh, that's, they told a story that happened in their church. See, healing happens. Yes. I mentioned Jesus. Yes. It's a structure. Yes. It keeps people from breaking car windows. Yes. Or maybe there's a few bad kids or adults in there that do things, but overall, it's a little structured for a little bit of goodness. We say, oh, you have to be so good in here. And I can't make a mistake. See, we get so caught. We're human. We will make mistakes, and I will make them. I'll run a red light probably if I think I can make it. But now, maybe not. See, it's how, did I reflect back on the day? Look, okay, I'm not a churchgoer anymore. I mean, I never went. Went through like an evangelized state back in, 17 there, seeking the truth. We want to seek truth. And yet there's a smokestack coming out of the moon. In 1968, and we went to the moon. Yes, they made the films, in case something went wrong. Yes, they were being observed. When Neil Armstrong, couldn't talk about it. I think Buzz Aldrin had an episode where mentally had to deal with that in the beginning of all that when he came back and through the, you can't talk about it. I mean, their families are threatened. These are the big leagues. We can't divulge this yet. And yet we know it goes on. We see pictures of the moon. They slip through. Some are, especially with AI now, you can take a face, you can do anything. So now it's even, now with that, you can just say, well, that's fake. That's photoshopped with AI. So it looks like it's real. See, now that's on top of everything. See, remember, AI is not close to your heart. My message is your heart, your eyes, your ears, if you have all those things. See, people are born, right? You heard of, right? Helen Keller, no sight, no sound. I mean, wow. I mean, and it's like count your blessings, And someone said, wow, okay, you picked that one. That's a tough one there. See, I know it's hard to believe. Why would I pick that? Why would you save your child on the train? If you could push your child out from getting hit by a train, but you knew instinctively that you had it and you would get hit and probably killed, you would do it. You would do it. I stopped. We were going down and I saw these two little feet in a van and nobody could see, it's just a street that you would drive 25 miles an hour down, residential, right? And then these two little feet, or the leg, it's a child. I could tell it's not, no one would really pick that up unless you're looking ahead, if you were talking. And he could have just ran, it was a little boy, could have ran out. And the parents were like, wait, houses down in this court, I mean, someone could have thought we were trying to kidnap him. See, that's why I had my wife get out. It's like, here, honey, you go to the child. See, but then they'll think, oh, the woman's trying to learn. See, and that happens in real life, what we live in today. The deceptions, the scams, the torture, the negativities. And we have to navigate that. And, I like it when someone says, oh, I'm just happy all the time, buy my book. Those are good. I mean, if I can live a life of illusion and pay a certain amount for a book and come out that way, right? Well, you just didn't believe hard enough in my book, or, see, there we go again. Every book is limited. And maybe that book written by that person, it's unlimited, and it unlocked that person's mind, and it works. See, why would I want to shatter that? Can I learn from it? See, we want to be like that because they look so, we could say that's almost like a facade of unconscious. Are they really conscious? Are they conscious? How conscious are you? How aware are you? Sometimes we could say, well, I sense it a little bit, or I sense it more. See, it's like that. See, now we start diving into subconscious things like that because everything is stuffed. If we shake hands with our subconscious, metaphorically, and our ego opens up the hand to shake hands. See, then it's a smoother, then our eyes crystallize with tears. It connects to the heart. So you're seeing all these pictures at the same time because you're saying, oh, that's weird. Or that's a fake one. I seen that somewhere else and that was already debunked. I like it when they say debunked. Oh yeah, that's debunked. In 2 seconds they say the word debunked and you're like, oh, see, that's a fail-safe program word that's programmed in your mind. So when you hear debunked from the favorite person that you like to listen to, then, and they both sides say debunked. Okay, so if you hear that, that's a fail-safe to keep you locked in to the side. To not, see, into the dehumanization part of it. See, if it's your, I will, I'm focusing on politics. If you, I know, in the genders, okay. Just forget it all. You know what? I know, hour and 20 minutes of babbling. But see, I'd rather babble and have some hope. So when I listen to this back, I could say, oh yeah. See, I don't want to come back. That's how I just don't want to come back. And then the ones, that's why you're going to see all these ones. You've been seeing, if you made it this far, then all these ones and these miracles of ones and the couch, I got irritated with the ones. Imagine the loving universe reaching out. See, listen to other things and they'll complete those thoughts. I don't need to jump there. I'll expand. See, the fragments, I'll expand. I'll put all the pieces together like 3D chess, and some repeat a little longer, shorter. I mean, it would be considered crazy, and probably at some point, people look at things like that because we can only hear so much process. Like if you listen to the news all day, could you imagine that? What it would do to you? God. I mean, if you just had, take the channel you don't like, turn that on, and then listen to it all day. That would be your best teacher. That's like sitting alone in a room with nothing. A blank room, no sound, blank. But you're sitting comfortably, but you just sit there for hours and hours and hours now. And people do that to learn. Oh, should I do that? Should I fast? Should I do this? Should I do that? Should. Just know you're an eternal being. You live forever already. You can't get any more spiritual. Jesus cannot lay his hand on you and say, I will make you more spiritual. You are already, he wouldn't even raise his hand to do that. He wouldn't. Because you're already there. You're already there. It's about forgiveness in your heart and what you see and what you hear. That's what you're managing you choose a life. Deja vu is in there. It seems, I remember I did that because you reviewed the life. Say, why would I pick that? See, this is real time. I'm taking you in a time machine now. You're in a movie. Follow me. You're right now. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. And ahead in the future, they look back right now where you're at. It's being formed. See, that's what I'm talking about. You heard simultaneous time, or everything's instant on the other side, and time doesn't work the way we do. Tick, 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 like that. See, that's how it's looked upon with deja vu. That's the answer. That's the answer to deja vu. Oh, I did that before. So you want an answer? There it is. But you say, why would I do? It's the karmic ways, because you have picked this, and we orb other people, other souls, and we say spirits. Oh, you must mean this and this and this. Look, all religions. If I'm all religions, then I'm Buddha. I'm Gandhi's religion. I'm Allah's. Look, if I'm in a religion, use the Bible. I don't know where it is in there, but I hear that, there's stories of swords and, horrific things in there. Stories of, sounds like us. A bunch of liars, power grabbers, the oldest profession. We get hurt, jaded, our perceptions are all distorted. And then we just jump on the side so we feel better and supported, because that's what we do. We want community. But we forget. So we don't want to say, gang members that run around, do horrific things, they could be the greatest contributors to peace. Can you imagine a gang, like an LA gang, turning around and just saying, you know what? We realize something, that we are creating beings. That doesn't mean our ego and, hey, look at me, I'm a creator. Yes, you are a creator. We use the ego juice. That's the juice of our open hand. Our ego is now open. It's like a heart beating. Our ego is our hand open. It's the juice of life, of your passion, of your creativity, of your beautiful imaginations, the dreams that you want to dream, and the movies that you make, the books you want to write, the podcast you want to create, the walk you want to do in your work, the perceptions. Maybe you're sitting in a silo, a cubicle, and you know what? Just imagine, close your eyes, and light from the sun is reflecting out. No darkness is in there. You know what? Then nothing can upset you. If I said something like, Jesus didn't want to be praised, Jesus, right? I hear an attachment to that. Oh, you mean you communicated with God himself, the Son? We get hysterical with this, because Our ego, that's another fail-safe programming. Tune out, hysteria, revert, fight or flight. Go back to what we know. See, step back. So I step back and I say, this is so, I mean, I'm all over the place. I would have just be offending. I mean, I'm not going to go to, look, I'm not going to go to a church and say, hey, Jesus told me he didn't want to be praised. You're all wrong. Oh my God. So if I do that, oh, that's more karma, man, right there. You want to know like a blind person, right, can play music without seeing the keys or they can, sing and play the piano, right? A blind person. And we can't even do that. But my mother was a pianist, a concert. She played Mozart and Beethoven and, Scriabin, right? Okay. But she wasn't blind. And she learned the hard way, playing, 8 hours a day as a child, and lucky just to get a piano and upright and all that kind of stuff. Just, blessed. It's the avenues and, things like that. Oh, okay. The dog, it says, oh, you're way off track. Pause. Well, I mean, I paused it. I paused it just for about 10 seconds. I can't even remember where I was. So there's how that feels, higher self, to forget, to be flawed. Oh, is that a flaw? See, we want to beat ourselves up. Is that a flaw? A shortcoming? Well, if I act like an idiot and it's a shortcoming, well, then we say flaws well, that's a negativity. There's polarities. See, if we realize negative and positive, light, dark, see, if it wasn't for the darkness, the light wouldn't be created, right? I mean, so do we give more credit to the light or the dark? We give credit to the light because the light brings us to the light. But if it wasn't for the darkness, there'd be no light. I mean, see, that's a paradox, just like religions. That's why this is the greatest experiment. Okay, I know. Let's just go back to that. See, let's go back to the one that would just say, no way, Jose. How do you know? Who's giving you this information? But yet we can hear channelers, which is great. See, I'm going to criticize. Look, everybody is beautiful. Yeah, even the people, those newscasters. Yeah. But you know what? We look for the goodness. Yeah, nasty, nasty, nasty. Okay, there's a goodness there. If we want to tolerate that, sometimes we'll learn something of our own tolerations. But why do I want to subject myself to the same narratives over and over and over, right? So I try to loosen that and just, okay, did someone drop a nuke? Or, okay, or did somebody, or did some major injustice, some law change, or, things that, okay, maybe okay, right? I just okay, you got to know this and know that. And, okay, look, it's just too much for me. So I let a lot of that go. And then one day, sometimes I sit there and I'll, 10 or 20, 30 minutes at the most. Oh God, or I'll flip the channels around. Okay, 5 minutes there, 5 minutes there. Oh, five there, five. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, I see. Okay, like that. Because it can take us over and create a hate and a pounding with our fists, and the ego is right there with you. See, it's attached. Just like when you cry, it's attached to the heart. There's no book that can tell you how to feel that. See, that's why you're an eternal being. You live forever. You go through these consciousness. You develop, and then we get caught in a karmic cycle. See, all these religions want one thing in common: bliss, right? But when you go to bliss, make sure you have a reaction that can also help this world, this earth. This earth is a being. You wonder why earthquakes and tidal waves, right? It shakes us, it's shaking because of what we're doing. The negativities, it's shaking. Like a dog shakes fleas, like that. It's scratching. Tidal waves and earthquakes and volcanic. It's a live being, and we forget that. And moving energy. See, you're an energy mover. Once you realize that you're here, and see, if we can get over ourselves and say, we're already spiritual. I don't need to go anywhere. See, and I could just turn on YouTube and say, the desert or wherever, green forest, wherever you want to go, see whatever. But I didn't take a cruise. You should travel. And maybe I can't go anywhere right now. Maybe right now I'm okay. And right now, this moment, see, that's a separation, the I we talk about. We have to get beyond the logical mind. All those things. I know I repeat things because this is important, because the negativity is like a tight bolt. And we just want to loosen it with tones. See, these bowl sounds are loosening. So now I can relax and just maybe I'll go to sleep. And program my subconscious with all these scattery things won't be so scattered. So I mean, I have different ways to anyway. But the energy work that we could do for the planet, take the sun's photons, right? And there's music for that. And you can enhance yourself for that. See, we want to be a little more. And that's why we get trapped. And with religions and save, and it really saved me. Yeah, save. Oh, I said, well, just Jesus, and and then it's right here, and it works for some people, just like in that movie. the miracles in heaven. With that little girl falling down the tree, you know. See, we want to anchor on to healing like it's ours because it's written here. And Jesus said this. But, you know, I did hear that connection. Just like I heard my mom leave, you take the love. You know, when she left, passed away, I heard that, like, and then, but she didn't say, and the remorse and the regret, you know, I freed her of all that karma because she, you know, there's a controlling energy. Well, look, when you're at that level to play Mozart and stuff, you're intense. That's where I get it from. she's probably laughing right now. Yes. Okay. So that's how fast it is. Okay. I'm all over. I know I'm on psychic overload. See, if I don't say it, right, and acknowledge it inside myself, then I ignore it. And I always say, well, I said that before. Well, I just ignore something. Or I just say, who cares, right? See, so I said that, I think, somewhere else. And then, but you or I, it wasn't completed, so it's fragmented thought, which is, it happens because there's polarities and someone, you know, it's like they're not ready or their eyes glaze over and you tune out. Well, what is he even talking about? Because I'm linking the thing. While we're here, you're an eternal being. Take your body, master emotions, which are feelings. You move energy, and you're a creator. What does that mean? You can create. See, you're only here for a short time. Mentally, see, that's why other beings and other races in the physical realm, they want to live longer, and they do all these things, and Atlantis went down. We talked, and the Bermuda Triangle shifts because the device was melted. That's why. And the mountaintops were Hawaii. The whole massive land shifts happened before the moon was brought in. Okay, the moon was brought in. You have a smokestack on the moon. There's eternal mechanisms within the moon. That's an actual creation. There's a race of beings that can create a sun that you see in the space, outer space that we have in our sky, in our solar system. They can create that. Ours wasn't from that, but there are beings that can do that. 1 billion years old beings that can create a sun. They terraform and life, and there's all kinds of life. There's 1,000 beings of life, different beings in our Milky Way. You know, from the creation that I did with the you know, you say, oh, you're a creator, right? Oh, invite me to your creation. I'll invite you to mine. I'll invite you to mine first. You probably won't want to go to yours, but I want to go to yours. I'd love to see. See, we could travel back and forth like that. See, we could create that now. That's the conundrum. It's like, yes. You know, I'm surprised the dogs didn't bark. No, but you know, I'm just like, you know, so we can get lost in the hate though. See, it starts, we just want to know everything. The government cover-ups, you know, space and time, the UFOs, alien vehicle reproductions that we do, they could look exactly like a UFO. Well, our government's so slick, they can even have like robotic, synthetic looking grays, the 3 foot come out. They're so good. They could do false flag. They could do all these kind of things if they wanted to. There are people in the know. See, these people have great karma to pay back. See, in your life, you say, well, a Hitler, you know, and people throw this around. You know, when you throw that word around at someone, you will see that reflected back in your life review. I guarantee you're coming back again, but you can fix it and you don't have to come back again. See, that's saving. Your higher self will save you. Just opening your mind. Say, well, okay, fine. Use your religious figures. Shine light with them. Hold their hand, their spiritual hand. You would say Christ consciousness. You could hold, you know, whatever was your strongest hold for goodness. You can, I say use that. You can integrate with it. You can ride it. You can absorb it. You know, the yin and yangs is part of us. The hand open and close the ego. See, that's the way I see it. See, I don't want to focus on injustices, you know. I mean, the miracles of life and the synchronicities, wow. Okay. All right. I flew all over the place. My friend, okay, PTSD, cycles, anxiety, depression, yes. Suicidal ideations, yes. Repeat, yes. Pressured species, yeah. Okay. Going on for years and years. Then the 11s. Okay, I go into the washer. Before I do, you know, I started up hour 38. Before I do, I go, I'm pissed off. I say, fine. I want to see 111. I get up, my self-righteous self, all self-righteous, all egoed up, man. Pissed. Demanding it. You know, that was the funny part in my mind. Angry. You know, can you imagine? Okay, so I get up and I open up the laundry room door and it's 111. And it still blows my mind. Just the first encounter like that. You know, and I heard, you know, now you get it? You know, it was like a smarty kind of, you know, but it wasn't yelling or, angry. And then, like, about this much time, whatever, then I heard, like, now you get it? And I was like, I get it. I get it. I get it. This is crazy. Okay, I was just showing, I was reliving that. Okay, PTSD, you relive. All right. So, yes, I can mentally drive, I can function, I can be calm. I went through, a car racing so fast, I say he because I know he goes in the emergency lane. It's a 3-laner, all the cars are slow. I'm sorry I wasn't driving over the speed limit. Like, I was probably over already, like 10 miles an hour. It wasn't fast enough, I guess. And he just must have been going 100. But he wanted to get around. I didn't even see him. He just went, there was a car in the emergency lane. Next thing I knew, rocks were flying up at the windshield. All over the car. Just rocks. And I got pissed. And this guy, and I know he's getting off the freeway because there's an exit there. He's just darting over. And I held it for a second. And then my foot. See, my foot hit. Oh, whoop, didn't stop my foot, right? Oh, do you have to be so... Well, I'm just telling you a story. Look, I hit the foot. I caught up to him. He's off the freeway. I'm still on. There's no way he could get back on unless he really slammed the brakes on reverse. He could have done that. He could have chased me down, But I flipped him off. I told him he was number one. I'm going to see that back, right? See, if I don't... I might just forget it. It's like, if you forget something, does that mean, is that... See, it's the weight of the scale. But if I remember it, yes. If I want to say, I want to look back at my day, yes. I want to look back, And in the moment, I can say, what am I doing? I know the rocks. See, that was a lesson. And I acted out unconsciously, Yes, he's damaged, everything. If I realize that everything is gone, I don't want my paint. I don't want my window cracked. I've already had to deal with cracked windshields like twice. So, it's just another, right? And you lose it. See, we're human. And okay, but I got lucky, right? No cars were crashed. He didn't stop, pull out a gun and shoot me or miss and hit a child or hit me and I crashed and then my wife wouldn't have a husband or, all these things set in motion. See, it's a life of motion. That's why you hear these bowl sounds. And then when you take a shower, see, this is the most simplest therapy for me. See, this is for me. I'm selfish. Now I'm selfish. I play this see, I'll forget like stuff. And then I'll revert fight or flight mentality. I can't take it. I want to die. The instant thoughts like that, And I'm glad I didn't. I told things about that and don't do it. It's like, don't do it. It's not normal. And what happens is contracts break. And then the first reaction is you'll try to get back in your body, like desperately, like the desperation that one has never felt before. You'll try to get back in and then you'll realize the people you left in the mess and maybe there was nobody in your life or something like that. You think, but the people that find you and things like that. See, we don't think of the waves that we create and leave. That's like a Hitler, a bomb dropping, when we dehumanize something over the news, if we tell them, and if we encourage violence, like, if you see them at a gas pump or in a supermarket, get in their face. I'm sorry to single that one out. But that drives me nuts, right? So I have to let that go. See, you could feel it in me. See, I don't like that. I don't like any side doing that. Look, there's goodness in all sides and goodness in all people. And the person that said that, I'm sure this person has a warm heart. But when that was said, the heart was not warm. See? But, I'm going to say it because of politics. See? That's why there's greater responsibility in there. And then all the little parrots, the little sub-channels and the channels and the unknowns and like two views, are down at the bottom. Everything is upside down. You could say this is the greatest hourglass. That's why there's so many souls. That's why this earth, like you want to go to creator school, if there's a singular race, you say, I'm going to take a chance. I say, well, how do they come in? How do they pick a body? Well, they come in as energy, as a spark off the source, just like you. They're created just like you. They're from the source. They're sparks. Planets are sparks, planets are being. All planets out there. All the life forms that we want to know about. We want to see how they look. How do they interact as a society? How do they get around? What do they use? Free energy. Are they there yet? Are they still primitive? Is this going on? Is that, see, we want to get side lost. And then because it's interesting. And then what do? We forget ourselves. And when we forget ourselves, that we're creators, we can move energy, that we're in our bodies, but the feelings have lag time. If you made it this far, it's a miracle. Feelings have lag time. They drag. Because they're anger. Just like with politics, great example. You could drag on for years, and then your candidate, whatever, right? Or some House person you like gets back, or what, whatever, a Senate. I'm talking politics like that. See, and then just forget it. Well, See, I don't even have to tell you now. See, it's within you. When your eyes crystallize, when someone passes away, or when you think of something, look, everything, there's time. On the other side, time, there's, oh my God, it's coming so fast. All right. I gotta, ooh. I know. See, when I start I shouldn't go into time too much because that is a mind blower. All right. I gotta pause. Now it's funny. My dogs just pause. When I was on pause, my dogs bark. Okay. When we expect something like, I want to see an 11. All right, let me just stick to this. Because miracles, we like to hear miracles, Well, you're a miracle. You can't get any more spiritual. So now listen to the miracles that I tell you, already maxed out spiritually, okay? After I heard, now you get it, right? And then that was like 2 years ago that happened. 3 years ago, the 11th star. Okay, I got pissed 2 years, okay. And then I go in there one more, okay, wow, I get it, okay. Like 3 months ago, okay, this is on a new washer now I think I got it, all right, because that was the old washer and dry, right? Yeah, lucky I can have washer and dry. Then forget getting sidetracked and all that. See, it's awareness of everything. Okay, yourself, okay. The mirrors and all, okay. 3 months ago, I, start up the washer, hour and 38, that's pretty common because I always do that setting. And I know I say eventually I have to, okay, all right, sometimes it's 56, 54, or 57, 58, 59, whatever, right? On the dryer. I don't do longer cycles like that. I try to keep them under an hour. Okay, so I know some people dry clothes in the sun, because they don't have dryers in the tropics. Okay, we can get, okay. So look, I go in there 3 months ago. I know it's scattered. See, imagine PTSD, mind racing. Yeah, empathy. Yes. Compassion. Yes. Okay. Understanding. Non-judgmental. Wouldn't that be nice? Wouldn't that be... Okay, so I go in there, and I'm watching TV, nothing, right? I'm just sitting on the couch. I start hour 30, or 50, I don't know what time it is. I walk in there just casually. I open the door just casually, like I always do, seeing different times. It was 11 minutes left on the washer and 11 minutes left on the dryer. Okay, that's part of the 11:11. See, that's the humorous part to me. And that's like the warm part, like, wow. It still blows, I go, wow, right? I go, wow. And then I remember how I was, 2 years ago. I was mad at the 11s. That's funny. I was mad at the universe communicating with me. You see all these, channelers and everything I learn. And I said, wow, I get lost. And that makes sense. Or, and a little piece, that piece lights up. That piece part of the puzzle. That didn't sound right. But I liked all that other. See, that's what it is. You're never going to get everything from everybody. Don't follow anybody but your higher self. It's your higher self that you're the judge of yourself. It's just that simple. Jesus isn't waiting for you on the other side and say, you know what, Daryl? I'm sending you back again. You just didn't quite get it. No, he's not doing that. Or he's not saying, Daryl, I hate to tell you this, but, look at this and look at that, and you got to, But, see, that could be your higher self in a sense. I know we use that as a higher self. Jesus saved me. I don't want to mock that because he healed people. He's a great teacher of love and how to move your spirit. Just like Gandhi is, just like Muhammad is, just like Allah is, just like Buddha is, all these people, just like your spouses or your significant other, just like the person you see on TV, just like the person that says get in their face, just like the person you're waiting in line on the conveyor belt with your food, and you let a person go. And I let a lady go before this happened. And I still try to do that. That lady I let go with one item. She was, elderly. I let her go ahead. I had, and then she has a problem with her card, and she's, whipping through her, trying to get coins out, and because the card wasn't working after about 5 minutes of that. And I was just thinking, wow, she's a good teacher. She's great. I mean, especially if you had to go to the bathroom, or something. I mean, our height and body, and because we're in a body, we're limited. That's why Atlantis, the beings they had developed, and we can go on to that. That existed, okay, I don't want to get sidetracked from these ones. Because see, when my mind does, I want to, spend more time on all these things that I just, fragments. And then I come together and I listen, and I'm all at peace. When I listen to this back, it's weird. Because it's I processed it now. I got it out. Now I can be closer to the center of my true self. I can get beyond the logical mind. I can let my eyes crystallize, right? With water, you cry, your heart. That's the miracle. That's when you're connected to the other side, to your own self, to everything, to the world, to the planet, to the whole universe. That's why they don't want nuclear bombs blowing up in space. It causes irreparable harm and cataclysms of quantum entanglement energy, distortions from that shock wave of nuke. And that's why, okay, because there was a nuke that went up and the little missile, the nuke went up, they were going to blow it up in space or something, some test, and a UFO came in and shot the beam lights, 1, 2, 3, 4, went around it, and then it just dropped and they tried to figure that one out, Like, yeah, duh. Yeah, we don't want nukes. And they take, some beings sacrifice their crafts in the past, too, by the way. So we shoot them down. Like, you think Roswell was just one? No, it was more than one craft. And you think they went down by accident? You don't think we had disruption waves and things that could disrupt they crash into each other? And, okay. So we think they're infallible. Everybody's a god. Well, of course it would look like a god. Look, if you took a person 500 years ago and put them in your shower, just boom, hot shower out of the wall, right? I said that before. Okay, you got it. You get it. You get the thinking, the thinking, just like today, and you're holding on something, the thinking that thinking occurred 100, 200, 500, 1,000, 2,000, 5,000, 10,000 years ago. and we made books and tablets books from tablets. From the writings that we can't even read, and someone else deciphers that. We just take it. I don't know. I couldn't even, I can't make a nuclear bomb, and yet we can blow up a country, a world, 10 times over. See, we can do these events, and then you question, can a being really make a billion-year-old race that supported love and creation? Okay. And we doubt 100 years where we could blow up a whole planet? Think about it. See, think about the time. You were everything. You lived. What do they say the universe is old? Whatever, 8 billion, whatever, right? You're that long. Everything, boom. You want Big Bang? There it is. You always existed. See, you can't get any more spiritual at all. You're already spiritual. You already are a creator. You get the hate out of you, then you can see truths. You're not perfect. That's part of the process. See, that's the secret ingredient for a creatorship, that you, if you will. You think that this is the dream. You think, the universe goes on forever and there's pain. Yes, that's one side. The other side is a side when we leave our body. Our consciousness, the energy from the universe, from this realm of physical, came just like darkness and light, just like physical and spirit, like that. See, we complicate it. That was weird. Okay, 14717, that was weird. Okay, all right. So I'm not going to start looking at time. I know, because, okay. And then another time I went in there, just recently, like a month ago, whatever it was, I walk in the washroom, same thing, 14:14. And I rarely see that on clocks because I'm not on the military clock time, 24 hour or whatever. I don't see that. I don't see 22 or whatever. I don't see these times like that. So a 14:14 for me, that would be, so blue moons, you want to know, once in a blue moon, we think, right? Synchronicities, you think, and then a blue moon is every second. Our preciousness of life. Our sun could poof, this planet, like that. 8 billion creators have to be relocated. We'll all get there eventually. That's why there's all these levels. See, our minds are being unlocked because this planet will be a source of, every person will be able to create a universe. Now, this is going to blow your mind. Let's get to the end of it. You can hurl, galaxies out of your hand. I say, now this is, why not follow me on this movie? You would go to a movie and see bullets and, 100 people die in an hour and think that's pretty good. Look at that. And there's a charge from it and there's a seduction, and we get pulled into that. And we know you're thinking, and yet I'll say a couple scattered things and you could go to a movie, totally be programmed, for the first person, a knee-jerk reaction. Here, I'm going to kick you in the back of the leg for kicking my chair the whole time I'm trying to watch the movie in the theater. See, instead of just turning around, I don't know if you're aware, you're kicking my chair. It's disturbing me. See, when you confront people, then they'll say, I'm not disturbing you. I'm just I'm just tapping, see, they're not, some people say, I'm so sorry, and be very careful. See, you don't know reactions, just like the guy on the freeway. He could have pulled out a gun. Right there, boom. Right when I flipped him off. Boom, who's ready? So I try to learn, what did I learn? Even if it went bad, rocks were all over the car. Life is so short. But I don't want paint job in the window, right? The expense, right? And violation. That's a violation. Okay. See, there's that. So, can I forgive that? Can I forgive it? Was he a nut? Was he racing somewhere because somebody died? I don't know. Who knows? Probably he was an idiot, no doubt. I mean, what idiot goes to an emergency lane? I mean, right? I mean, okay. All right, going 100. And the emergency lane's only so wide. Okay. See, I can relive it. See, I can start feeling it. See, it's feelings. So I don't want to feel like. Give it to your higher self. That's what I do. See, that's why I make this so I can remember to do that. Because I could get swallowed up and say, life's not worth it. It's hopeless. It's too hard. I can't take it. What does it matter anyway? And then, no, we have to live it out. We can change it, see. See, time on the other side, see, that's the paradox of it. We think, oh, well, why would I pick that life if why would I pick this misery? Why would I pick a homeless person? The blind person, when they do the music, they're pleasing your ears. See, they're paying back karma by picking a blind person. Because the handicap with the blindness and learning and, right? Not being able to see, when everybody else can see, but yet they're paying back karma, lifetimes of karma, and yet they're paying back lifetimes even more karma because your ears, and they just, play, and maybe they got on stage and they're blind and they're playing music and, a certain amount of people, they hear it and enjoy it and feel good from it. See, the karmic, now it's the polarity shifted, see. That's how that works, See, maybe like a person like Hitler has to do that 1 trillion times or more, or 1 trillion times. See, the magnitude of that kind of torture, gassing people, pulling gold out of the teeth, a pile of gold filling, and their jewelry or whatever, piled in a pile, and shoes over here, and, here, walk over here. We're going to shower you all off. Do we have to go down those roads again? But we throw Hitler out. That's why we have to go down those roads again. And we just say it. See, we try to attach someone to Hitler. I mean, that's amazing to me. Amazing. I will not support. That's why I'm nonpartisan. Don't link me in. You will never fit me in a box. Oh, yeah, I have to vote. I have to do this. Oh, I could probably tell which way he's going to vote. See, we're in constant judging. And we project that out. That's why there's 8 billion here. See, there were 6 when I was younger. The sun's more white today. Photons are activated. Now there's 8 billion. We can't, this is, and more extraterrestrials are revealing themselves slowly through, certain kind of podcasts. People might reveal something that, see, the main media is just not going to, So it's really, that's how it's going. And once in a while, you do have whistleblowers, see, protected, and they should be protected. If they're you want to talk about someone that knows about free energy? Protect that one. But you'd probably have to upload it, and then you'd have to, these people you're talking $1 trillion. You think people want to give that up? No way, Jose. If you can't put a meter on it, so you can have that running your whole house, your car. You don't need windmills. You don't need solar panels. You don't need drill for oils. You don't need gasoline and diesel anymore. You don't need jet propulsions. It's a shame that we send our astronauts up on these rockets that explode. Okay, don't even get me started on that one. Yeah, the deceptions, the deceit, the conniving, and it's like our thinking, a crisis of thinking is like the Titanic, and we hit the iceberg. Yeah. See, we could hit the iceberg. I'll hit the iceberg. Okay, maybe I shaved off a few incarnations. Maybe, what did I learn? Okay. I died. And then, okay, I pick a lot. Yeah, I keep doing this, right? Why do I keep doing this? Because if you're going to create, what would you want to create? You would want to create, see, on the other side, a rose. And I said this on the right. Rose, peak smell, like that breath in the light switch. Right in there in the middle. That's like the nucleus, the atom, right? The atom within the atom, or whatever. That's the switch, the yin and yang scale. That's what the scale sits on. That's the force of life. Okay. See, this is a movie you went to dream, to dream, to be free. People pay to go see violent movies. This is free. You're hearing sound bowls. This is almost 2 hours babbling, and then you hear my laugh, So yeah, that's the hysterical laugh that has developed when it comes out like this, It's just the way it is. And it's accepting myself, makeup, no makeup, Sure, I'll cut a hair. It's growing out of my ear. I'll try. I forget. And wow, look at that. The decay. See, we're not decay. We want to know what we are not. See, you're evolving. See, other singular races out there have their conscious recycling system. Let's get that. And then they, some come here because they want to help, and then they get caught and they forget, and your mind's wiped, and then they're caught here. See, but eventually, right? So you think like like Buddha, and Gandhi and we're all, see, once we realize we're all of that and we can reflect back, we have shaved off all those karmas to live through. Like we're really, there they go down a waterfall. And by the way, a waterfall, like Niagara's, the top of it can run the free energy for the world. That's how much power is right around you. But right there, it's right there with you. But if you want to talk about just running the whole planet off of one source, you could just do it from there. Even though it's all around. It's like a photon. A photon, you can't stop a photon from the sun. Like if you're in a cement block, and that photon will be in the room with you, like air. It's riding on molecules. So maybe that's my crazy laugh. I'm looking at it now. See, now I self-analyze. See, we do that. We self-analyze, and we think, well, I want to be better. And then we start, remember, perfectly imperfect. I am imperfect. I am perfectly imperfect. See, growing up with my mom being on that level, the perfection, if there's something out of order, it should be in order, So it was sort of like that. So we have to realize that and I forgive her for that. Like that, you could say some people have those issues of, control. I have my control issues. You have yours. Our parents have theirs. They're a creation from theirs. We forgive them all. Invite them to our creation. Say, well, they did this and this and they murdered. And, how do you know that you didn't kill someone in your last life and doing all this? You can think of certain situations in karmic cycles. You can say, wow, that person, you can see the karmic, just pulses that are popping, And that comes from if that's coming from hating the other side, see, that will be reflected back. See, that's a very important lesson. That's why there's 8 billion now. But see, if you realize it, there'll be 7,999,999. You're a creator. See, you could be the greatest teacher. The greatest hypocrite could turn around and be the greatest teacher. That's the yin and yang. That's the polarity of this planet 1,000 years from now. That's the rubber band effect. See, that's gravity. See, if you claim healing, you're claiming gravity. You're claiming air. You have a right for this air. Now you can tell me how the air is structured. And now you'll tell me that this is, so we can get lost and we anchor on to the books that were left behind and the stories that were told, and we forget ourselves. And we forget we're the most programmable. Our memories are in the universe, the source's domain. Just like your iPhone's photos are in the cloud. I mean, can you imagine when I was on the rotary phone that you could hold a phone and talk face to face someone across the world instantly? I mean, that's a fantasy. Unbelievable. Like Star Trek communicator, right? It opens up the flip phone, right? See, introductions to things. Don't you see? I say, don't I see that? And then when I see it in the movies, it just tickles me. It's like, wow, that's the truth there. And, look how they twisted the concept. But it's sort of delicately leading you in your, see, everything's stuffed in your subconscious. See, these are being planted in. Just like hate seeds, there are seeds of healing seeds planted in. See? Healing seeds. The mind. See, with PTSD and the racing, and then I realized, my wife, and, I want selfishness, I take my life, and, and things could, trigger things. Somebody says something cuts you off, next thing you know, you're jamming your car, you're using your car as a weapon or something. It's like, jeez, it's like a world that's, right? We have to walk out in that, right? They say, well, just walk with, that's right. You walk with the spirits. And I say, now it's, okay, you walk with the energy sources of souls. That's probably better. Less. Like beings. Say alien being. No, you're a being. They just have bodies like us. A human body, they have a body. Okay. And yes, the dog and the cat were from other worlds. Yes. Yeah. They weren't created here. They didn't crawl up from the ocean, a dog and a cat here. And the praying mantis. Those three are for sure. They're from other worlds, other beings. Contributed. We have other beings' DNA in us. I know that's hard to believe. Well, I could prove it. Where is it? Show me in the helix. It's funny. It's funny, it's sad, and then I think, okay, I know it's crazy. See, I would never open my mouth like this anywhere. Unless somebody say, oh, why'd you put it on, for me? So, like, if I get lost and I lose something or I'm scattered, I know, okay, I could just, email myself the link. And I'll just put it in like, keep here or something. I don't know. Simple, right? But everything's complex. I'm scattered. I mean, it's just hard to keep, and the overload and the PTSD and the hopelessness, right? So how to have hope is I take a shower and being in the moment. Sometimes I could just feel like, wow, water's coming over my body. Ooh. See, it's about feeling. That's why we're here. That's why we don't want people violating us. It's, that's nasty, violations, and throwing around words that are linked to treacherous deeds, and everything's a reflection. That's why that mirror, that was like one of the best things. It's like, just, yeah, you could capture a sun, it has no face of its own. That's why they say, oh, look in the mirror, and we say, or we say, oh, I love that to death. No, I love it to life. See, it's stuff like that. It's the programming to be aware. It's an awareness. Just like when you listen to other good teachers of awareness, like, Eckhart Tolle or other good, that you would say good and this and that, and you turn them on. I mean, there's, I say, yeah, there's others too, of course, this and this and this and this lady and this, as I said, women are more intuitive than men. See, if women were running this whole planet from the beginning, I wonder what it would be like. Wow, what a time shift that would be. See, we think that, in time and different, people think like there's different time avenues. See, right here, you're in this timeline that you can shift. That's almost like you came back from the future, like the movie Back to the Future, and you went back, and you could alter time perhaps, right? You had the ability. So you have the ability to move. Okay, the Titanic already went down. I'm just using it as an analogy. See, sometimes we will hit the iceberg. Most of the time we will. We'll still hit it. Or you're saying, oh, you're so good now, and you know everything. You're just like, oh, God, and you're claiming. No, are you kidding? Please. See, there's forgiveness. That's why that's so important. See, if that thought came in, then jump in my body and say, look, I already forgive you, right? See, it's like that. That's the reflex now in me for the most horrible things. And I could tell you things that are very horrible. Yes, that's something to forgive. Woo, are you kidding? And we hold and hold, and we might do that for a while to process. See, so that's right. Let me hold on to it. Good. Hold on to it then. Hold on to it, but just let it go. Just say, here, higher self, this is what it's like holding on to it with the juice of the ego. See, that's how I hold it then. If I want to hold it, I hold it like that, like in that perception of words. See, but we like to drill down and point because we have our shortcomings and flaws, and we can use those and weaponize those. Just like we can weaponize our skin color. We can weaponize that. Same thing. We can tell a false story. We can lie for for the group. Everybody in the group lies, or parts of it. And then we separate. See, how do you divide and conquer? You've heard that. That's as old as, right? Old as time. All those things. And see, it's the politics because I guess I'm around it a little bit of the edges of it. Because it's disturbing to me. The level of battling. It's like an electronic war, that could have real consequences for people's lives, though. It's like shooting people, like wounding them. Like, I got you I got part of your body. I hit you. But I know you're still walking and alive, but I got you and you recovered, a certain amount of time. And you use that with the keyboard. It's like bullets loading in a chamber. Tick, 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 fire it. Just like a military person would, fire a missile like that. You fire one. Fire one off. So I talk about all these issues for me because in my mind, I'll judge myself. I should be better. The perfectionism. I'm not good enough. Then a little hopelessness. I repeat certain cycles and traumas and irritations and processing, balancing, see, the yin and yang, realize, just opening my mind up. Maybe I distracted myself with all those pictures that you saw in the bowls. And I was just able to, what? I'm human. It's okay. I know when my eyes water up. See, I can time jump. Like if I lay in bed, my significant other, my wife, I can put my hand on her shoulder, And she, I have a pain or whatever. And I just put healing light in from love. Like, and some people say, well, command it. See, we get into this, I command it. And, right, in the name, and it worked. So it kept you where you needed to be. And that's okay. You got healing. And that's great. Jesus has a smile. See, but when we look at it like it's the only way, because healing is happening over here. And the name didn't happen over there, but yet healing occurred. The miracle happened, you know. But, you know, and in the movie, in the thing like that, the lady runs over to the tree, now I remember, and she puts her hand on the tree, and she's praying. See, she's in the path of spiritual law, like gravity, up and down, light and dark. She's in there, even though in her mind, she's probably like, Jesus, you know, but what she's doing is herself, right? She's already spiritual, and she feels like her spirituality is her energy now. She's moving energy into the tree stump, see, of that movie. And she's just like desperate, but it's not the desperate, like, I don't believe. It's like, I'm gonna jump. Like, here's my faith. Like that. That's what it was like. I'm just trying to describe that scene of the, you know, miracles. I think I have the DVD, so I'm not gonna get, okay. I think that's the name of it. Miracles in Heaven. Yeah, I don't have the DVD. It was on Netflix. That's right. See, look, it's harder. Look, okay. See, real life. Yeah, that's what. Yeah, I got to worry about. Are you kidding? People are suffering. You know. Okay, but what? You know. Then what can I do? Okay, what you can do? What can I do? Is that's right. I make this. I listen to it. Reality check for myself. Do I want to hate? It's simple things. You know, like breathe. Right. Your eyes and your heart are connected. No one needs to tell you that, and you're already as spiritual and you're trying to create something from that. The eyes and the heart is the juice of the creator, and then the ego's in there, and of course everything else. But the juice is the heart, the love, the eyes, the watering eyes, the crying, the gentleness, the empathy, the compassion, you know. So that's the creatorship, the moving energy. And then you're a creator as a being in your mind. Yes, in your mind. I told you, Atlantis, people in their mind, they healed themselves with their mind. They got bored. They did experiments and things that happened. And the shift, okay, forget all that. We're talking about ourselves. See, we're talking about ourselves where we can tune in. That's why these pictures coming by that you see, you know, I don't know, like the ones, I mean, the last ones, I got blown away a few days ago, whatever it was. You know, I was just listening to like I would be now. You know, I'll listen to it, I'll upload it, I'll listen. Okay? I'm listening, right? I'm listening, right? I'm just like, oh, okay. And I'm not, my mind's like at peace because I'm doing the racing for myself. It's like reverse psychology. There you go. It's like a reverse mortgage. You know, I'm like, if you're 80 years old, you might as well get one. You know, oh, I want to leave everything to the kids, you know. That's fine. Go ahead. Well, I'm not telling you to do anything. I'm not telling you to get a reverse mortgage. I'm not telling you to buy anything. I'm not telling you to look at this and look at that and look at, you know. What I'm saying is, well, I guess I am saying. I'm saying it to myself. It's a mirror to myself. So I'm telling myself to remind myself, don't be a hater, right? Look at things differently. And then I turn the channel like, so why do I, I don't need to know anymore. I don't need to know what this person says. If this person's famous, did a movie, I don't need to hear. Okay. Or this person's, this person, okay. A few headlines, okay. See, I'm overloaded. So I don't spend a lot of time with that anymore. You know, before I get sucked in, it's like addiction. Life is addiction. My sensei said, life is an addiction. You know, and then we break it down: worse addictions, bad addictions, good addictions. Are you, doing chemicals and this and that, and driving under the influence? Are you, there's all kinds of addictions. Movie addictions, eating addictions. Not eating addiction. So you get an addiction. So life is addiction. That's why he said that. He just said life is addiction, and I'm like, well, that's all of life. Yeah, but some are bad and some. It's like polarities. So it's like, just see, if we're taught the polka dot sky, I don't even want to get into that. That's other tapes, but right? So it's the programming that comes to the ones. All right. So I paused the synchronicity, and then it was like 1 hour, 11 minutes, and 11 seconds left. And maybe I can post that here as I'm talking. I don't know. See, I'm not very good with production, and so I just like throw them all up there, and it's just a lot of trouble, and it's hard to take time for that kind of work. I'm not, I say I'm not that good, but I'll try to get something out. Okay. Like that for myself, and I'll push it, and my body get tired, and, and transferring this mass files, and, I don't know, it's just not my thing, but it helps me. So like, okay, I'll do one more, and then it'll remind me once again of the miracle, that we're a miracle. So, cause I know I'm not going to live forever. I remember my stepfather saying life isn't short. I was in a different country. He died. And I was in a different country, So I came back, and then he was already gone. That was my stepfather. And my parents were divorced. I went through that. I was aged like 14, 13. There's yelling, doors slamming, screaming, windows open. Okay, kind of like that a little bit. Dysfunctional. the usual chaos, doing donuts on a motorcycle, all the kid stuff, So it's just that way, and it's a dream. See, we play these roles and we pick these lives. And that's okay. Like all those things I did as a child, or accusations, or things I did growing up in the teens and in the 20s and 30s, 40s, 50s, in the 60s now. So yeah, everything's a learn. And we learn. What did I learn? Did I learn something besides I got irritated? Okay, well that's what that's like. Perceptions, how we perceive things. So that just reminds me. So I always think I have to go somewhere, be something, know something. I gotta just know this, know that. I gotta turn the channel. I have to know more. I gotta tune in more. And I don't want to discourage from what people do to make money. I'm just giving you my example of what happens in my mind. I know I'm just like flying all over. I have a headache. I've had a headache. Oh my goodness. Okay. I say oh, I need to take that healing energy. Yeah, I do. In the shower, I'll go through some of that and I'll put it, and I'll feel like, okay, I can have a moment of rest. See, we have these expectations. What? See, that was an expectation. If you had that thought, that's an expectation. See, that's the ego getting in there and saying, yeah, get in there. It's hard to see. We can't separate it. It's part of us. That's why it's the hand. And sometimes it can close slowly. It's like a hand around the neck, right? And then you can't breathe. And then you close it and you kill. And you can kill with words, and you can kill with bombs and bullets, and you can kill with all kinds of distortions that can come out of people. And out of myself, like I did. I flipped somebody off right there. See? I'm human. So what do I do about that? Am I going to go to hell? Am I going to go to heaven? Do I repeat the life? Should I cling on to this, cling on to that? And see, this is what happens. Because this is programming. See, we're programmed. See, if you'd never watched the news and you were on a different planet and you were programmed like with a different way, you would be instantly transformed like that. You would just, oh, this is great. This is great. I don't have to hear nonsense. Hypocrisies. So I mean, it's just, I don't have to judge and hate, and I just go with it. In this timeline, it's supposed to be exactly where it is right now. Exactly. That's the weirdest part about this whole time concept. Like the reality of now, on the other side, the deja vu. We pick these lives because of the karmic cycle, and we create karma, and we can pay back lifetimes. Like I said, there's beings, us, are waiting. Sometimes we'll take a handicapped body to pay back lifetimes of karma that we did because of our ego, or are you saying, are you well, you might have killed someone in the past. Oh, you're the yeah, why would I listen to you? How do you? No, I never knew that I killed anybody in the past. I hope I didn't. I mean, I would hope I didn't, but if I did, see, I would just say, like, forgive everything. Like, so I take the time and say, I jump in my past. If there's something that floats in or floats out, or I never remember that I did, please forgive me. Either that I did intentionally or unintentionally, or I did with malice even. Please forgive me. Forgive that part of my life. Right up to now. See, right up to now. See, now you put all the thoughts on a train. The dog walking by, spirit animals, they're spirit animals. They have spirits too, just like a person, just like a soul. They have a developing consciousness. That's you. Because you were a rock. You were a blade. Yeah, I was a dirty rock. Yeah, you were cleaning pneumonia out of the air. Maybe you were the oxygen, battling, or, balancing things out. Maybe you were lava coming down, maybe you were, see, we just don't know that because we've lived forever. You have expanded. See, now you're at a process in your development of ascension. That's why we're created with other beings in us, because their carnation cycle was limited to that creatorship of juice to create love from the heart and passion, as this world does with all the classical, with all the beautiful music and the beautiful animals that just purr and sing. But then there's the other sides of that. See, the polarities. See, the wars. And there's people making artwork and making, a life of positivities as best as they can. They're not intentionally going out and robbing someone. Okay, they're not intentionally, trying to scam you. People get scammed. You think they get away. Nobody gets away. I know some do. They don't recover their money. It's terrible. But I know you want payback now because I want to see it. Of course, duh. I'm just saying, when those things happen and you don't see that payback in that moment or ever, they will have their payback. They will. It'll be in their life review. They will even feel what you said. Say, please look at my face and see how I am, and see that. See that reflection. Fix yourself. There you go. Put your ego in there a little bit. So if we get in those dynamics, we could fix a lot of things. Like with my grandfather, writing, out of the will, and, I mean, as a little boy, I said, well, sounds like if Grandpa, it's not his way, he's not playing marbles, then he takes his marbles and go home or something like that. It's only his way. And if you don't think his way, then, oh, I'll write you out of my will, son. Stuff like that. It doesn't matter. We forgive it, though. We forgive. I forgive you, Grandpa. Really. For anything you did. It cost my father, us, the family. You did take us out. I know you just, and one time my father asked for a new furnace, and you almost fell off your chair. Do you need anything, son? Can I just have a new furnace for my house, Dad, because it's falling apart. Barely making it. If you want detail. See, we want detail. So that's to my mind. See, this is to myself. See, this comes from the perfectionism. So when I realize that, I have to accept all that. But to accept all that, I have to acknowledge it. I have to be aware of it. Or I'll keep doing it unconsciously. That's why the bowl sounds and all these things in pictures. See, I could just sit back now and sort of like it patches me up. And in other words, my mind doesn't have to race like it's racing now. Like if I feel like that, then now I can just play that and say, okay, I could just relax. This is enough. So I might put a little thing. This is the last long one, because of the ones that just like blew me away, So I'll probably just upload this one. I made one a day ago. I'll probably upload that, but I wanted to add bowl sounds, and I think I had more music. So I think the bowl sounds help me, because we get trapped in our paradigms, and we're in a paradox, and those are hard to break, like pyramids, religion, politics, and you hear somebody switching sides, or I got converted to this, and look, all is good and good is all. Light is light, love is love, right? If you're a creator, like if you're a teacher, you would want to teach the best you could. If you're a builder, you want to build the best you could. If you're a creator of the universe, you'd want to be the best creator you can. There's a spirituality going on here. Creator support. See, we want to limit to one God, one source, and there is one source, and you're a spark of that source. So what does that mean? That means the ocean's in a drop. We don't beat ourselves up. We take the boxing gloves off. We relax. We take a breath. Like, see? Just like that.